Hello. This is USA Emiliano Zapata. USA Today Emiliano. Wanted to say USA Emiliano Today. Hola. Hello. Copyrighted 2023 E.MEL rights reserved. We do this weekly, and we talk about the past, the present, and the future. So every Friday we begin with the Lord's Prayer. Just this microphone. Hello. Yes. Our Father, who art in heaven, holy is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom and the power and the glory are yours, now and forever. Yeah, so that is our first in to a virtual Garden of Eden. Hello. Hi. Yeah, so that is the first in to our virtual Garden of Eden, and I'm hoping my viewers out there appreciate what I'm trying to do. We call it FRIDAYREDS. We talk about the past, the present, and the future. And I'm in character as today's United States of America Emiliano Zapata. Usually we talk about the indigenous in California, which was Mexico, which is now California after the gold rush 1840s, 50s, and about the governor of California. The first one was Mr. Burnett. But entering the Garden of Eden, virtual one, you have to say the Lord's Prayer, where the Lord is Jesus Christ, the Son of God, Yahushua Jesus. Because we want to enter in the Garden of Eden, we have to be cleared and have a mission. And so this is like a simulated afterlife, to enter the garden after life. All right. So what we have to do after life is enter the garden. And what we need from every spirit, soul, is to say the Lord's Prayer. Because it was taught according to Matthew chapter 6 on the scripture, when disciple Matthew, the book of Matthew, says that this is how he prayed, our brother Jesus Christ, how he prayed to his dad, the Yahweh, the holy creator of heaven and earth. So we say the Lord's Prayer as the first end. Now the next end that we have to do is, because we are Chicano, USA, Mexican, Filipino, we're Chicanos, we have to obey the law of the land and loyalty to the American flag, which the lyrics of the Star Spangled Banner is kind of like outdated post freed slaves and labor rights of Larry Leong and Cesar Chavez. So 1976 really is a new and Star Spangled Preamble is really what I'm pushing as part of bringing heaven on earth, as the voice of USA people. Unlike the Mexico history, civil wars, Emiliano Zapata was a peasant, but Emiliano Zapata, USA Today, I'm just a normal lay person, a lay USA citizen, a Catholic, Chicano, Filipino, Mexican. And in order to bring heaven on earth, we do this FRIDAYREDS virtual entrance to the garden, and maintaining the entrance by respecting the law of the land and, of course, the red, white, and blue flag. And so we say the preamble mission statement of the Constitution, U.S. Constitution, constitutionus.com, which is the mission statement of the government, the Constitution. And so, and then of course recognizes the flag after 1976. So we call it Star Spangled Preamble. And I'll chant it, or just say it as a spoken word. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Oh say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we once were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Yeah, so if you Google Emiliano Zapata, again, we talk about the past, present, and the future. And that's the story. Friday Red's task is to explain the past, either the past week and the past, and the present, and then the future. So, let me put this guitar back down. So I'm gonna make it a little brighter. Turn on another light here towards us. Whoa, what's going on? There you go. Yeah, is that bright enough? All right. Hello, 9793 Muhammad. All right, so this past week, let's see. The 15th, I went to the Obama Festival. It's a annual event in Mountain View, California. That was last 2 Sundays ago, I believe. The 16th. In Mountain View, California. That was last 2 Sundays ago, I believe. The 16th in Mountain View, California. That was last. I need 2 Sundays ago, I believe. The 16th in Mountain View, California. I get an echo. Stand by, stand by. I get an echo. Stand by, stand by. I get an echo. Stand by, stand by. I get an echo. Gee. Stand by, stand by. All right, I think that clears it. So yeah, the 16th, last Sunday, I went to did a lot of things. I met went to a speakeasy karaoke there. Then Monday, I met a few people on Monday, and then last Tuesday, oh no, that's a couple of weeks ago. So last Sunday, I didn't go to karaoke. My siblings were brought back my mom last Sunday. All right. So Tuesday I went to watch Barbie and then Oppenheimer. And I met a guy named Zone, an Apache dude. And Oppenheimer, the bomb was built, designed at the Los Alamos, New Mexico, and that's Apache Nation. But I spoke to an Apache dude. He sat right beside my seat, named Zone. If anybody knows him, let me know. I saw Barbie first earlier, and it was the beauty about the casting of Barbie was it was inclusive. You had a red person, you know, of course you have white, you have black, red, white, and blue, and mixed people in that Barbie show. The casting was great. It was all inclusive. And then of course the love story between Barbie and Ken and the other Kens, love triangle, or not really love, but it's just misunderstanding and communication. But for some reason, little tears were pouring out of my eyes. I don't know why. So the story of Barbie is very interesting. I think women are very valuable in America, and I believe women role models are important. And you know, especially my elderly mom, she's a very powerful woman when she was not weak. And then of course, I have not yet, I mean, I encourage women leaders, CEOs, and eventually a USA president. So some of my posts that are represented posting the two female candidates for the Republican, Nikki Haley, and for the Democrat, Marianne Williamson. You know, any woman leadership is needed now today in the United States political scene. I'm just not satisfied with the male dominance still in the political scene. But you know, it comes through time, and USA will evolve to a better governance and respect the Constitution US.com, because a lot of these politicians are sponsored by corporations, and that's not good. Corporations should never sponsor. I mean, they should sponsor politicians, but the politicians should not you know, help these special interest groups if it affects we the people. And we the people need to wake up. And Hollywood needs to make more diverse casts like Barbie. It's all inclusive, you know, so you got red people, white people, black people, and mix. Mix meaning America Ferrera. She's a Latina mix. And red is the Red Ken. Simu, the Marvel Comics actor. Of course, Ken, and Barbie, and Barbies. So inclusiveness and a cast of, you know, that's what I enjoyed about the Barbie, even though it's about plastic people of plastic. It's an interesting, it's definitely directed by a female, and you can tell it's a female flick, but I as a guy kind of like understood it. So indirectly, my subconscious experience, especially when there was some kind of a miscommunication between so that's what I did last Tuesday. And then Oppenheimer, a very important biopic, a very educational biopic, and I believe, you know, those decision makers had made their decision, and history can never be changed. That's the way the history is, and respect it. And I believe this film was Oscar winning also. I mean, it's really a good biopic, because such a weapon of mass destruction, unbelievable. 2 cities. Well, anyways, they had to test it out, and they tested it with the former World War II Japan, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. But we're currently in a situation today with Ukraine and Russia, nuclear war, and then this China regaining its power and causing problems in the Indo-Pacific region, bullying other nations. They should just let be what is be, but I know it's corporations in the US that outsource all the jobs. But Oppenheimer had to happen to educate the world. Now, that biopic is very important. It's a truth. It's important to know the details of what happened. And then I went to, after the movies and do my work, my mom still didn't call me, so I passed by the Rancho Fresco Tuesday nights. There's karaoke there downtown, a bar called Rancho Fresco. They have karaoke. The people that do karaoke at Speakeasy on Sunday nights and karaoke at Thursday nights at Turlock, other place, they're the same people. So that's how I usually sometimes go to Persuasion Brewery on Tuesday for trivia, where Lucy's there. And then summarizing my my problem solving about finished content, end product, the finished property. And I can't do whatever Hollywood's doing in Hollywood, their operating system. And it's, you know, controlled by the studios, the AMTP. They hire and fire and, you know, produce big budget. So I've been trying to solve my problem here in Modesto, because I'm a union, I'm SAG-AFTRA, and they went on strike. But I haven't been working because I'm here in Stanislaus County, not in LA County, Hollywood. And extra work or principal roles can only be happening over there in Los Angeles, film schools, as well as actual businesses that recruit the big pool over there of casting. But here in Stanislaus County, the problem is casting local people that are not afraid of the camera and understand the filming process. So I presently, you know, I'm trying to problem solve how to make profitable content and how to pay the participants of creating the content. And so presently today, I attended the local Dutch Brothers sponsored state theater filmmakers and Central Valley Film Project. They got budgeted by the Stanislaus Council funding, and I interacted with them, what their needs are. I said, hey, I'm a consultant. I'm also a union actor. I also pretty much could do pretty much all the process because I participated in American Film Institute, SAG-AFTRA Conservatory, and observed film students, and observed the pre-production phase, observed the post-production phase, and the release, content release, screening. I've also done syndication, a finished product. So I've devised this thing called Hollywood Operating System 2.0 that I wanted to execute when I get back to LA, or actually make it here first. I'll call it the Modesto Hollywood Operating System, or MOS 1.0, and hopefully I can convince local people to help out in my project. And so the goal is really to storytell my story from our point of view. And so my initial goal is to create a dance show, taking off from a public access nonprofit project I did in Hollywood a few years back, that I want to do a for-profit project, but instead of using music from other counties or nationwide other artists or radio stations, I want to use the local music. And so I'm trying to educate local musicians to learn to submit to ASCAP or BMI and be listed in the song view. Because as I wear my music supervisor hat in trying to build a playlist for these 8 episodes pilots, I need at least 20 different artists utilizing about 3 minutes worth of each song, danceable, and various genres from rockabilly, country, to hip-hop, to reggaeton, to trance, to metal rock, so to hula, powwow, jingle, those kind of dances in the 1-hour episode to make it very eye-catching and interesting, as I did in the prototype that I did in the show in LA. It was registered with AFTRA, and I have to re-educate SAG-AFTRA because the merger kind of like, I don't know, I submitted that project back in 2006, so it's an AFTRA, but I don't know, when my dad passed away in 2008, I kind of like put everything in files, in storage. So I'm just awakening here locally in Modesto. And so I talked to these local filmmakers, Jacob of Central Valley Film Project. They've been sponsored by the Central Valley Stanislaus Art Council. So they got budget for their project. So they're writing it, table reading it in pre-production. And so hopefully they'll cast. And I kind of like gave my spiel about inclusivity, inclusive people in the cast. So I was behind the camera and in front of the camera. So that's what I did today. And of course, I pushed the story of Filipinos and Mexicans in California and the significance of Cinco de Mayo Chicano USA history. Not the Mexican history of Mexico City, but USA history. And Emiliano Zapata, USA Emiliano Zapata, is significant to me because his Plan de Ayala is what we the people, USA citizens, taxpayers, we want to have that Plan de Ayala of Emiliano Zapata back in the Mexican Civil War. Because Mexicans were killing Mexicans. And that was the problem with that revolutionary war with Mexicans, Pancho Villa and Emiliano Zapata. They teamed up together because they were peasants, like you and I. We're just lay citizens, taxpaying citizens, creative artists, storytellers, Imagineers, and engineers. That we're not being treated right by these corporations. And so I'm trying to problem solve to best fit a Plan de Ayala, like how Emiliano Zapata was. I believe he faked his death in 1911, April 10th. I believe he hid to one of the Mexican Empire territory, which is the Philippines, because the Ayala family in the Philippines are Mexican, wealthy Mexicans, or Spanish mestizos. And so we, the people of the United States, especially the indigenous people of Chicano heritage, descendants of Cesar Chavez and Larry Itliong. We have to tell the story of California and from our point of view, because we are USA citizens under this United States government American flag. The Constitution is great. It has human rights, and the what you call the amendments has helped us, people of color, Black Filipinos, Black Mexicans, Black Africans, the Black people of America, and America needs to know more about our stories. They're running out. You know, AMTP, they're relying on the writers, but they keep remaking, money-making stories. You know, like for example, Batman story has been remade over and over time, but it still makes people go watch. Those people that are loyal to the Batman story character. And that's how they make monies, right? They know how to milk the American people, the American viewers. So, how to get well-paid performers, writers, the Imagineers, how to get them well-paid. That's the problem solving that I'm doing as an independent. SAG Indie, Screen Actors Guild, independent. I am not AMTP. I am not a corporation. I am just a showrunner of a title story, a story to expand that story to be more of value. And if that intellectual property title becomes value, all the participants will get percentage of that value for every proceeds. Proceeds meaning licensing, you know, releasing, renting, syndicated nationwide. All right, so because I've looked at the syndication and the result of a finished product. All right, and how to, you know, make the creative Imagineers earn a better living. Because when I moved here and moved this store to take care of my mom, there are no independent films. There's no, I mean, there is one, Paul Ragsdale and Angela Ragsdale. They slowly make independent films. In fact, they made a film, Cinco de Mayo. So maybe we can help, we can re-expand that property. But the way I would involve it is to make it a union project, and a participant like me will earn from the back end, you know. All right, so with the past, with the present, and we're doing that now. Thanks for those that I've met, and I need to recruit, and tell the story. So illustrator, I need a concept artist, illustrator, and that's what I just met some people. They sometimes, you know, you talk to them in person and say yeah, get excited. But I'd rather first help Jacob's Silicon Valley project, Central Valley film project, and whatever I can, and hopefully in return they would do the same thing, help me out with my stories, the people that are involved. And I told them I'll just be a consultant, and I could, you know, my main thing is I'm a union actor, so if the project wants to hire me as an actor, they have to make a union contract with the project, and I could guide them too on how to do that. All right, so that's the present, a little bit of future, but I'm gathering all musicians, singers, songwriters. You know, music supervisor's job is to gather local music. They have to be available. Their work has to be seen in the song view, because that guarantees us as producers of content. If we add it on to the films as a soundtrack or a TV show soundtrack, it's been cleared by the union. all music. So BMI and ASCAP, they do that. They do the clearance to make sure that you own the copyright, you have intellectual property done. So that's that's what I also did. I released a song, lyrics, and a theme song. It was by my brother Gabriel. He wrote a song called "Lucky Woman," and he also wrote a song called "Filipino Girl" and "Fabulous Fantasy." It's already in the BMI song view, and you could already see those songs that I collaborated with my younger brother, because he's the copyright owner. But I composed it to where, you know, I presented it in a country genre, outlaw country, and the song title was "Lucky Woman." I first initiated the release on my mom's birthday, and then July 20, you know, around 25, you know, it's also St. James, the great St. James is a saint in our community, in our village. And so St. James Festival was during this week. But July 28th, today, is my biological daughter's birthday. And so, yeah, it was released. It's available on Spotify. Look for Lucky Woman. Song title Lucky Woman. And under the artist E.MEL. E.MEL. Go to Spotify or all digital distribution and listen to the song. Like maybe you want to use it on a soundtrack, mechanically license it. I have other songs under artist E.MEL, E.MEL, which were prototype releases of the first album, and a little error on the second album single release. I had to fix the Spotify release was different from the YouTube release. The YouTube is accurate, but the digital distribution release on Spotify and even iTunes is not right on that. There were 3 songs in that. It's Mestiza Girl, Hawaii Five-0 Mestiza Girl, Please Remember Love, and You're My One and Only. So those 3 are right. Hello. So Strike House join. All right. Hello. How are you doing? Anyways, I'm a I'm an independent. Again, music independent. I'm always independent. I've worked for corporate America. I've helped solve problems for them, millions of dollars. I've saved them. But they paid me an all right salary, but I didn't have the freedom to solve problems like our stories, untold stories. So I'm trying to tell our stories, especially the story of Emiliano Zapata back in the 1900s, and how Philippines and Mexico, how Emiliano Zapata planned his death, planned the Ayala, and he escaped to the Philippine Islands. The Ayala family is in the Philippines, and those could be Salazar or Emiliano Zapata Salazar or Emiliano Zapata Ayala. He probably has escaped because his story was, if you Google Emiliano Zapata, find out more about him, and Pancho Villa, the revolution. They call it Mexican Revolution, but I call it the Mexican Civil War, because after the Spanish-American War, the Mexicans were fighting each other because they put a corrupt president named Porfirio Diaz, and he was in power for that period from after the Spanish-American War to how many? Almost 10 years. 1910, but the peasants had enough of it. Emiliano Zapata and Pancho Villa joined forces, and they actually defeated the government. But unfortunately, Ponce Villa did not accept the presidency because he said you needed someone more of a college degree president, an educated president. So they went back to their territories, Emiliano and Ponce Villa. Emiliano went back to Morelos, Chinameca, and he, I believe, he made an escape plan because they weren't listening to him, his compañeros, and they assassinated. The story is he was shot riding a horse, a white horse, and they basically ambushed him. It was, I believe, 1911, April 10th, 1911, I believe. That's when the story that he was shot by his own fellow comrades in the Mexican Civil War. So it was like President Carranza, or anyways. And they said then a few years later they did that to Pancho Villa. He was in LA, had a radio show, Pancho Villa, in 1920, I believe. But by 1923, also Pancho Villa was assassinated. So Mexicans against Mexicans, terrible. But again, USA government may have done something, you know, the USA CIA may have done something to make sure that they put a better Mexican leader that would not have conflicts with the US. Because pretty much all the territories of the United States were stolen land. You know, they created war against Mexico so that they could take Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and California. I mean, you know, Mexico was weak after the Spanish-American War, but still they meddled with the politics in Mexico City. But the Civil War, a guy like Emiliano Zapata was speaking for the peasants, the people, the indigenous people of Mexico, not the white Mexicans, not the European Mexicans. Emiliano Zapata was for the indigenous, the peasants, the people that worked the land, toiled the land. And that's what we are in Modesto, agriculture. Mexicans and Asians working in the agriculture. We just are tax-paying citizens. We go downtown to just relax and enjoy. And so downtown Modesto, they're recognizing all these movies and the car clubs, you know, the graffiti culture, but they're not really recognizing the true Cinco de Mayo that happened in Delano, California. Filipinos started that great labor strike first. And that's the reason why the federal government issued the law that every employer must have a break room and every employee has to have a break, period. That is the law. And that was because of Filipinos in Delano, California started the huelga, the strike. And then, of course, when there were Mexican scabs that would cross the picket line, Larry Leong and Philip de la Cruz, they needed help from a Mexican or a Chicano, a Tejano. So they invited Cesar Chavez from Texas. He's not Californian. He was invited to come and help so that these picketing Mexicans would not cross the picket, cross the strike. And so we're seeing that today with the Writers Guild strike and the Screen Actors Guild strike. Hopefully all actors, both A-list actors and background nobody actors, that they are really standing up for the labor rights, for better working conditions, preventions from being used on AI technology to scan themselves and reuse them. They have to have consent. And so Chicano labor rights then applies to today's SAG-AFTRA and Writers Guild of America. Hello, so we have a new person still. Strike X House joined. All right, so look up the story of the Delano strike. These Filipino World War II veterans were never recognized by any, there were a few presidents slowly, but they never recognized the role of Filipino Americans that have been here before 1946. Because what happened was 1946, they cut off Philippines and Guam. Can you believe that? Guamanians and Filipinos, they were divided up. Before that, Philippines, Guam, Hawaii, they were all one nation called Maharlika. And even though USA took over, the colonizers, Mexicans, whatever, they were one until 1946. And then they made, by 1947, 48, because of the Zoot Suit Wars and the roles of Filipinos in those conflicts, the Filipinos were pretty much treated like they've never been here, or they're new arrivals. They're far away. They're just a recent arrival. And Filipinos are more Asian looking. But, Filipinos have been here during the Mexican Empire. And the Mexican Empire was 1520s to 1890s. Mexican Empire was huge. In fact, the emblem of the Mexican Empire for Philippines was a lion king. And the same, every corner of the Mexican Empire had a their flag emblem to show the territories of that just like how any European, like the Spanish or the Roman Empire, they had their own emblems of their region. But anyways, 1946, so the Hawaiians and the Guamanians is, we're not Filipinos. They make the Filipinos different, but they're actually Filipinos in Guam, Filipinos in Hawaii. In fact, the Austronesians, the Polynesians are from the Philippines. In fact, the indigenous people of California, the Indians, are from Asia, from the Philippines, which wasn't called Philippines then. It was called Lemuria, Muhan. But my job is to tell the story from our point of view, because they just basically, the Spaniards, the New Spain, the Mexican Empire, we were, dark-faced captives for the Mexican Empire. The same to the Apache captives, the Diné, the Hopi, all the Indians that were Pueblos, that were captives of the Mexicans. They were wearing the white servant labor, Indios. Chinos, Indios. Luzon Indios or Chinos, or you say mulatto, the mulattoes, okay? The mulattoes. These are black Aetas or black Indonesians, black, the Manila Galleon brought them all way before the African slaves. There was already the Manila Galleon slave ships, slave labor ships. In fact, all the first Chinese that came from China, they all rode the Manila Galleon first. That's what they rode first. The first immigrants from China, first immigrants from all those other places went through the Manila Galleon first. They rode the Manila Galleon. All right. So, older than the slave ships of Africa. And California is Queen Calafia. From that point, Baja was California, in the lower part, and Mexico City, Mexican Empire, the Tenochtitlan, they would call California an island, and they would call the Queen Calafia queen. She was a black queen, like an Amazonian leader. So the name California is the name of a woman king, a Calafia, Queen Calafia. But we indigenous people know these stories, how the Turtle Island is called, and how the logger turtles would migrate up and down, you know, Japan, Philippines to Mexico, Baja, Mexico, California. The logger turtles, if you look at the turtle migration, that's the turtle clan. And then of course you got the different tribes that follow the buffalo, you know, with the Indian hair with the left and the right braids, right? So those are the Midwest Indians, but those are like the Lakota, and they follow the buffalo. But we, the Pacifican Indios, West Coast, Turtle Island, we have a top knot, a single top knot. The Chumash, the Miwoks, the Ohlone, the indigenous Californians, and sometimes, you know, uneducated tribes like Apache or people in the Midwest Indians, and the way Hollywood portrayed what is an Indian, Native American, they always say, you know, you're supposed to have long braided hair, you can't have a mustache. Or, that's wrong. The indigenous people of California were really dark, and Olmec black, Austronesian black, or dark face. So I shared this because I wanted to say the day the music died was with Richie Valens. Aside from Richie Valens was Buddy Holly, and aside from Buddy Holly was aside from Richie Valens and Buddy Holly and Big Bopper, I shared this song called Filipino Baby by Cowboy Copus. He's the guy that sang Tennessee Waltz. So that was in the 1940s, country music. And they were already using the Hawaiian guitar. The Hawaiian invented steel guitar and the African banjo. And so, why the U.S. servicemen liked the Hawaiian music? Because Philippines was a U.S. territory from 1900. USA purchased the Philippines from Spain for $20 million or so dollars back then. That was the amount to acquire the Philippines. So the Spanish, Mexican Empire was chopped up, and USA took all over the valuable territories that they. But when they let go of the Philippines in 1946, 40 plus years later, it really damaged. It really injured the Filipino Luzon Indios in America that were already here, and the families in the Philippines, and the families in Guam, families in Hawaii. They made the Filipino as if it's the lowest class. So if you go to Hawaii, they will only recognize 6 Polynesians and will put down the Filipinos as not really. They made Filipinos as the Hawaiians make the Filipinos like, but there were, like I said, they were once Filipinos. The islands were called Maharlika, and each island had their own independent chiefs. Just like the Philippines had 3 independent major islands, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. And the Mindanao, this is where Manny Pacquiao's island is at. And they had different tribal chiefs in that. And then the Visayas is where Magellan was killed. Lapu-Lapu killed him because it was defending his government and, his tribe, his chief. But Magellan, the Spanish conquistador, wanted to meddle with the way the chiefs run their islands. And the British in Hawaii, they meddled to empower Kamehameha. So Kamehameha united Hawaii into a one island with 7 islands, instead of leaving alone the different chiefs of those islands. I'm a descendant of the Maui chief, Kahikele. The Maui chief fought Kamehameha and the British. The Maui chief was more in line with the Spanish, and they would sail to the Philippines. The Camaros of Hawaii, the Camaros of Southern California, Los Angeles or San Diego, the Camaros of Guam, Camaros of the Philippines, the Camaro family, all the way to, you know, Central America, Venezuela, there was a Camaro. There is a Camaro, as in Camaro, Cameroon. So that's my Camaro family, and they're Austronesian look, you know. Aetas. Notice pretty much all the Asians are pretty short because of the Aeta blood, the black pygmy, indigenous blacks that were in Southeast Asia. All right, so I've been talking. Wow, it's 9 o'clock. I have to go. I'm just trying to educate the Mexican, Filipino, Mexican, the California Chicanos. You know, we need to have our stories told. We need more filmmaking groups, team to be able to educate everyone. And we need casting like Barbie, inclusivity, bring everybody in, both in behind the camera and in front of the camera, to get everybody educated. Because we the people, we have to say it. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, oh, what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. All right, so that's called the Star-Spangled Preamble, the National Anthem 2.0. I encourage every singers, musicians to memorize the 2 lyrics, the preamble of the ConstitutionUS.com and the Star-Spangled Banner lyrics, all in one. You can chant it, sing it to the crowd. Every sports, we start with the preamble of the U.S. Constitution, sung if at all possible. All right. So now we're gonna exit the virtual Garden of Eden. The theory is that the Garden of Eden is in the Philippines, according to OPHIRinstitute.com. OPHIR, Ophir Institute, all in one word. OPHIRinstitute.com. It explains the theory about where the Garden of Eden is, the real garden exists, it's underneath the Philippines after the flood. That's according to the researchers, OphirInstitute.com, because Mu, Lemuria, that's the oldest civilization way before Atlantis. Lemuria, Mu is older than Atlantis, and Atlantis is older than Egypt and Greece. All right? So that's just a theory. So we gotta exit out of the Garden of Eden, because when we enter the circle or the sphere, there's only one entrance to the east gate entrance and only exit. So we log out. We logged in with the Lord's Prayer as the first, and then the last out was the National 2.0 preamble of the Constitution and Star Spangled Banner. And then I finished my talk. It's already an hour already. I try to limit my Friday Reds show to an hour. And then we do what you call first in, last out. So the first thing we did was the Lord's Prayer. Again, it's Matthew chapter 6. It is when Yahushua, Jesus, taught his disciples, and Matthew wrote what he said or what he prayed and how he prayed to God the Father, the Holy Creator, the Great Spirit, the Holy Spirit. And so he prayed the Lord's Prayer. That's what he called. He is Yahushua, Jesus Lord. He is the Lord. Jesus is Lord. All right. I know some of you might not believe in him, but I believed in him. I mean, I wrote an album that described my situation from the time I was witnessing this event that happened to my life to where I'm at today, that you are able to reborn inside your soul. You delete out, cut out, commit the soul, spirit, decide to, the old soul spirit, to suicide it, terminate it, and reborn a new soul, a spirit, a new seed, and having Yahushua, Jesus, embedded in your soul, a new baby spirit. That's what I did. That's what happened, and and I listened to my mom. My mom said, "Listen, pray the Holy Rosary. That's how you deal with, broken hearts, a bad spirit, and don't get misled by demons. Demons are real. The spirit world, the demons are real. All right. So I just want to exit out the log out with the Garden of Eden. You can enter the Garden of Eden after you die, after life. I know you watch Ghostbuster, Afterlife. What happens to your spirit when you die, when your body turns to ashes, dust to dust. Your spirit is seeing the light towards the Garden of Eden. There is only one entrance gate, the east gate. And the Garden of Eden is the most holiest of holiest on earth. And it's underneath the Philippines. At least that's the virtual research according to Matthew 7:7. Ask, knock, seek until it's provided and given the truth. Okay, here we go. Our Father, who art in heaven, holy is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom and the power and the glory are yours. All right, so we logged out of the garden, the virtual Garden of Eden. Again, the spirit world, the paranormal world, those are real. It's what you know after you die. Some people that get into a car accident and there's a major crash and they don't know about, you know, the ways of the purgatory. The Catholic Church doesn't know the ways of after death, what you do. And if your relatives don't pray the rosary for you, the 9 novena, 9 days after death, you're stuck. And there's a TV show that was done, Ghost Whisperer. There are spirits that are in a limbo. Even the movie Ghost, for Patrick Swayze. So you're you're in a ghost paranormal situation, and you could be stuck in the invisible world and not get to the Garden of Eden and see the light. All right, I see the light, like Hank Williams Sr., country music. All right, so Ghostbusters, Afterlife. All right, so there's truth about the paranormal. And again, the Catholic Church already covers the purgatory. It already covers the afterlife from their point of view of understanding from their 66 books. But the Ethiopian Bible has more than 66 books. So look at the Ethiopian Bible or the Greek ancient Bible, the Septuagint, and look at the other books that were hidden or not, you know, the Catholic faith kind of like did not put it in their list. And then, of course, the Protestant, Martin Luther printing the books, make available to every human being. So, you know, men of power, they want to corrupt it. They don't want it to have it their way. But we lay Catholics, we go to Mass. I go to a Saturdays, 5 p.m. Mass. I'm a Catholic AD lay Catholic, AD Sabbath day. So I go to a Saturday Mass on the Catholic Church. They have a 5 p.m. Mass. All right, so for those who don't believe, I believe because of what happened to me. I had to remove my old me, my old spirit that was hurting so bad. And I had to let go and regrow a new spirit, a soul in me. And that is done in John 3. Scripture, John chapter 3. How can a grown man be reborn? A grown person be reborn? And that's answered in Scripture, John chapter 3. If you guys... And I also listen to Catholic radios like relevantradio.com, EWTN.com, and of course, KLOVE.com. I listen to those three. But I do my own research too, as a researcher and historian, especially the Chicano history and Emiliano Zapata, why he had a plan de Ayala and why the Philippines have Ayala family, Mexicans in the Philippines. And those are answered when I seek. And the questions I asked was, when on my first album, if you go to Spotify, East Meets West, I was questioning those things, and I had to unload it on my first album. And so if you're interested, go to Spotify and look for E.MEL, album title East Meets West. All right? Because I'm just a channel of peace. Because Yahushua Jesus is a peace, Prince of Peace, and love. God is love. If you have both peace and love, your relationship with Yahushua Jesus and God and Mother Mary, that's more everlasting than your relationship with any man or woman. Because men are like grass and women are like flowers. Their beauty fades. Their greenness and their beauty fades. Every man, woman, they fade. But Yahushua Jesus, God the Father, Yahuwah, Yahweh, everlasting love. Even if you've sinned all your life, once you realize the value of a relationship with God the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, you'll be happy. You'll be, like I said, your baby soul will be regrow in the right path, in the good path. But listen to our new release, Lucky Woman, and have a nice weekend, and stay hydrated, and support our local creative Imagineers here in Modesto, California, and support the strikers in Hollywood, and Imagineers here in Modesto, as well as Silicon Valley engineers. Support their creativity, ingenuity, and then of course the creativity in Hollywood. Educate the billionaire AMTP studios. Profit greed is not right. All right. I hope to finish build a team and get to tell my story. The only way I can tell it right now is as the character, the USA Emiliano Zapata. Viva la raza para la paz. All right. Thank you very much, and mahal o. Aloha. Mucho gusto. Gracias. Salamat. Thank you. Share. And good night.